Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video of Runway Sunday, we are talking about money. Yes, I know, not the most glamorous thing to be talking about, but I felt like this is something I've been wanting to talk about on my channel and something that I do feel very passionate about at this kind of like age and stage in my life. And Runway Sundays are meant to talk about fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. And I can honestly say that finances, money, budgeting all fall under my lifestyle. At the end of the day, what runs your lifestyle is going to be money. So today I am talking to you guys about budgeting. Woo! I know, so fun. And I'm gonna share with you guys me and Scott's budget, show you how we do all of our budgeting, how everything works month by month for us, how we find out how much money is left over, so on and so forth. And just get into the nitty-gritty of why budgeting and financing is super important. Before I get into the video, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that red button below, subscribe to my channel if you've been liking the new series on my channel, or if you're just interested in any other videos that I upload. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so I would love if you guys could all help. And I'm going to be doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So for you guys to subscribe, it costs you nothing, and you could win something free out of it. So why would you not subscribe? So before we get into the actual budget meat of it all, I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit backstory about my personal past with money and the relationship that I finally have built with money and how I treat it now. So when I was in college, so I started getting my own paychecks when I was just 17 years old. That's when I got my first job at Journeys. And later on throughout high school and into college, I eventually then started working two jobs. I started working during the summers at Journeys and at Target. So I have always been the hustling type of person. I've always been gravitated towards money, getting money, spending it, and getting the newest, greatest, and latest items. I've always had a love for fashion. I used to have a bad relationship with fast fashion, with trends, things that turned over quickly. I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with having the newest thing that people were always talking about. And that's kind of where my relationship with money was not healthy. In college, I would always just spend money on whatever I wanted. And if I wanted, this cute new pair of shoes, I'd get them. If I wanted to buy this cute bag, I'd get it. And then whatever I had left over was what I had left over, and then I'd wait till the next paycheck came around. So it was very unhealthy. I wasn't saving a lot. I always lived paycheck to paycheck. It was never a matter of saving too much. I tried saving as little as I could. I mean, we're talking like $10, $20. I was putting maybe $25 to my student loans. It just wasn't a healthy relationship. I eventually met Scott, my husband, who is the complete opposite of me. He has always been money driven, budget driven, finance driven. He was obsessed with like finance books, obsessed with Dave Ramsey. If you guys don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's like this finance guru who I have been obsessed with now within the last year. But Scott was the complete opposite. He didn't buy anything. All he bought was like clothes and like the necessities. And most guys are typically like that. They don't typically buy like a lot of stuff that they don't really need. But Scott was like to a T. And he was already budgeting at that point in time. He was already doing all the things that I was not doing. So it was a big change when I first met him. So it wasn't up until we got engaged. Or no, actually, so once we bought the house, obviously finances became a little bit more serious for me, because it's like, okay, now we have a house, and granted the whole house is in Scott's name, and everything legally would fall onto him. It's still, I'm living here, you know, it's still my responsibility to help buy things and pay for, you know, expenses. So we eventually kind of figured out a system for ourselves, and I got a little bit more serious about money. I tried budgeting myself, but then it wasn't until the following year that then we got engaged and things got really serious about money. Scott was like, girl, if we're gonna get married, you better lock it down with this budget. I should make sure my face is in focus. So anyways, then I always lived paycheck to paycheck. It was never a matter of saving too much. I tried saving as little as I could. I mean, we're talking like $10, $20. I was putting maybe $25 to my student loans. It just wasn't a healthy relationship. I eventually met Scott, my husband, who is the complete opposite of me. He has always been money driven, budget driven, finance driven. He was obsessed with like finance books, obsessed with Dave Ramsey. If you guys don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's like this finance guru, who I have been obsessed with now within the last year. But Scott was the complete opposite. He didn't buy anything. All he bought was like clothes and like the necessities. And most guys are typically like that. They don't typically buy like a lot of stuff that they don't really need. But Scott was like to a T. And he was already budgeting at that point in time. He was already doing the things, all the things that I was not doing. So it was a big change when I first met him. So it wasn't up until we got engaged. Or no, actually, so once we bought the house, obviously finances became a little bit more serious for me, because it's like, okay, now we have a house, and granted the whole house is in Scott's name, and you know, everything legally would fall onto him. It's still, I'm living here, you know, it's still my responsibility to help buy things and pay for, you know, expenses. So we eventually kind of figured out a system for ourselves, and I got a little bit more serious about money. I tried budgeting myself, but then it wasn't until the following year that then we got engaged and things got really serious about money. Scott was like, girl, if we're gonna get married, you better lock it down with this budget. So Dave Ramsey actually put this on his Instagram, and I loved what he said about this. A budget isn't about restricting what you can spend. A budget gives you permission to spend without guilt or regret. So I loved what he said there, because when I first met Scott and he was very budget driven, I always thought that. I thought, you're restricting me. You're restricting on like what I can buy, and like you're not allowing me to spend money on the things that I want to spend money on. But it's really not true, because at the end of the day, when I would spend that money, like $100 on like a sweater, it's like I would immediately feel regretful, because I'm looking at my bank account. I'm like, okay, well now I don't have money to like go out to eat with my girlfriends this weekend. Now I need to pull from my savings account. So whereas now having a budget and having my own like set fund money for the month, I feel less stressed. I feel less anxious about spending money. Like I feel like, yeah, like I'm supposed to spend this money, because like I can. And I know that if I spend this money, I know I'm gonna be okay. So my relationship with money is a lot healthier now. I'm actually now going to walk through my actual budget, show you guys my budget template, and kind of everything that it means behind it. So obviously, being a woman who's obsessed with fashion, this was very hard for me to start working on. But once I got in the habit, it was like a well-oiled machine. It was like things were just flowing, and at the end of the month, I can't even tell you, like we always had just so much money left over. We were always so happy. Welcome to my budget with Scott. So me and Scott, I feel like Scott actually was the one who like really made this, and then I kind of just like made my tweaks, and we really followed through with it. So our income here are both fake numbers, only because I don't want to disclose how much money Scott and I are making every month. So these are fake numbers. But anyways, so pretty much what you see here, first thing on the top is income. So your income is going to be what you make for the entire month. So for Paige, I've put me down as 4,000, and for Scott, I've put him down for 5,000. So that's what we make every single month, hypothetically. That is not truly what we make. That would be laughable if my salary was that close to Scott's. So then right under that is a formula. So what the formula is pretty much saying that it's summing both of our incomes together. And by the way, the incomes, just so you write this out, the income should be with taxes removed. So don't, like, if you technically make, let's say, like $4,500 a month, don't put 4,500. You'll want to put whatever you actually make in your bank account. So whatever you see in your bank account, multiply that by 2, and that's what you get every month. Don't put in without taking the taxes out, because then your numbers will be so screwed up. So the sum of both of our income, and this is what's in our bank account every single month from both of our jobs, $9,000. So then we're going to dip down into your fixed expenses. So essentially what a fixed expenses is something that is removed from your bank account every single month, or something that really can't be adjusted, or it's like something that like you have to have. So for example, our mortgage numbers down here are actually real. Actually, well, this is like a very old budget. So the numbers in here are actually somewhat real numbers, but like a lot of these things like Disney Plus we don't pay for anymore. Your fixed expenses like your mortgage, your electricity, Disney Plus if you have it, student loan payments, insurance, all that good stuff. So the stuff that you have to pay for every single month is what's next. So essentially what you want to do is just write out every single expense that comes out every single month. The number one thing that me and Scott did to really help change our lives was automate your expenses. Automate everything. So for example, the mortgage, $1,800 first of the month gets removed from our bank account. Electricity, however much it is for that month, $238 was that month, removed from our account immediately. So what I'm trying to say here is that you're never left wondering, like, oh, do I have enough money to pay the $50 for my Wi-Fi? Do I have the $25 to pay for Sling? I don't know. Just pay it. It'll help you not pay more in deadlines or delayed payments. But also, a lot of companies will actually give you a discount because you made an automated payment. Sprint, for example, I think they give you 5% off. I think it's 5%. I could be wrong, but I think it's like 5% for automating your payments. And you can pay early and still get the discount. Why would you not take the discount? It's amazing. So automate all of your expenses. It'll make your life so worth it. Whatever you see off to the side here is also what's really helped us track our money until our next paycheck. So essentially we have every single fixed expense, but then we also have what paycheck it will come out of and the date. So essentially, like, our first paycheck usually has everything on the top half, and then second paycheck items have everything on the bottom half. For example, our mortgage will come out the first paycheck because it comes out on the first of the month. AT&T will get taken out the first paycheck because it comes out on the 4th of the month. So this helps us know, like, okay, so before the 15th when we get paid our second paycheck for the month, like, how much money do we have left over? Your second half of the month after the 15th, you know, State Farm comes out, Planet Fitness comes out, so on and so forth. So you know really exactly everything that's coming out. And then how much money you have left over until your next paycheck. So essentially then the bottom thing is just total fixed expenses. So it gives you the total amount that you have here. Also, breaking up your expenses really shows you like how much money you truly are spending every single month. and then what things you can probably take out of. So for example, like Disney Plus, like, okay, we probably don't need this anymore. Like, what happens if we like removed Disney Plus? All right, like we're back up now. What if we got rid of TV? And then you just get to see those numbers like go higher and higher. So this really gives you a more in-depth look from a wider angle of like your month to see what you're really spending your money on every single month. After that, you kind of move into your kind of like fun or savings. So the formula first is income after fixed. So we have B4, which is our total income, minus B17, which is the total fixed expenses. And this is the number we have here. So from every time we get paid and every time we take out our fixed expenses, we're left with $5,700. Woo! So essentially that $5,700, we can do whatever we want with it, you know? And we don't feel bad about whatever we do with it, whatever our decisions are. And I think this goes back to the thing about what Dave Ramsey was saying, like, you know, budgeting yourself doesn't make you feel bad about spending that $5,700. It should make you feel good, like you're okay to spend that money because you can spend that money. But obviously we need to eat. So the first thing on the income after fixed expenses is our food budget. So me and Scott, we give each other $1,500 a month for food. And so that could be like takeout, HelloFresh, grocery store runs. I'm not gonna lie, majority of the months we actually probably go over the $1,500, but we try our best. And then comes down to our fun budget. So Scott's got 200, I also have 200. I don't know why that's a 205, but every month we typically give ourselves $200 to do whatever we want with it for ourselves. So that $200 I could spend on Nordstrom or something at Target or Ulta, whatever it may be, I can spend it because it's my $200 I get every month. Same with Scott, he gets $200. And then after that, we have what we used to call our additional loan payment because we were paying off my student loan. But this could also be like your savings. And then that's like how much you could put into savings after every single month. So we just have like these kind of fun makeup numbers here, and then this is then what's called your variable expenses. So the formula pretty much just adds all your variables there. Money to budget. This formula is essentially saying that there's money missing that needs to be allocated somewhere. So essentially this is pretty much saying that we have almost $400 that hasn't been allocated to this budget. According to Dave Ramsey, he would probably tell you like this number should be 0, but ours is obviously not 0. Also, I am using makeup numbers, so I think that number is way higher than it technically is every month for me and Scott. The number, in my opinion, I would say that I like this number to at least be at a $20 left over versus like something higher or lower than that, at least like around like the $20 range, because that means like you have a flexibility of like $20 if like you overly spent. But anyway, so then for us, for the variables right off to the side, it'll tell you how much you use. So we'll just put something in here like we made a Target run. We went on to 11 and we spent $151. So see, everything is all calculated here for you. So it'll tell you what's remaining left in that month, and then add a total percentage too. So let's just say Scott wanted to spend something on fantasy football because that's really all he spends his money on. Let's just say it was like 120. And then let's say I go to Nordstrom. Let's just say, you know, I'm going to spend the most. So let's just say I happen to spend $10 over my budget. So we come back to here and it all shows it out. So Scott has $80 left to use. I have negative $10 to use, so that really sucks. And then savings, we still have the $3,400 left. A lot of times though, you could also like additional loan or additional savings could also be like Oliver expenses. So like let's just say Oliver has to go to the vet. So we'll put that in like $150. So now we only have $3,200 to put to our loan or to our savings. So everything here is all just calculated and really gives you a better insight look as to like what you can spend and what you have left over. And that is why we love budgets. It's super easy. This is like the most basic. You can 100% get more granular than this, but me and Scott think this is so basic and just exactly what we need for every single month, so this is what works for us. Hope you guys enjoyed this little like finance tip, budgeting tip video. Also gotta know that money lets me buy fashion and beauty, so gotta talk about the budgeting and the money behind it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you thumbs up this video if you liked it. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Follow me